to increase your business's exposure using PR. Yes, using PR. It is time for you to invest. And no, I'm not just talking about with money. I'm talking about with your time. A lot of business owners don't have the money to hire someone to get featured on podcasts or in other places. But in today's video, I'm going to teach you exactly where you should be looking and all of the different ways that you can increase your PR for free, okay? Because the truth is that we want to get earned media. That means that we're not paying to play, right? We're not paying someone to get featured in a magazine or featured on a television station or featured on a radio station. Instead, we are actually taking time to pitch or to be pitched to be on a podcast, blog, or whatever. Okay, so here are all the different ways that I teach visibility. I especially teach this inside of my program, Consecration Academy. But before we dive into all of the different techniques and tactics and ways that you can increase your business's exposure to the right ideal client audience, by the way, I want to first and foremost ask you, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. And also, if you're like, okay, who even is this girl and why is she qualified to teach me about visibility and PR? Hi, my name is Sienna Kovishki, and I am actually a Christian sales coach. I teach Christian entrepreneurs how to scale their business to $20,000 a month on repeat using my formulated system PMVMS, which just stands for Prayer, Mindset, Visibility, Marketing, and Sales. And I teach this inside of my signature program called Consecration Academy. Speaking of Consecration Academy, though, I'm going to share with you all about it in the next couple of seconds, but if you're not interested in learning how you can grow and scale, and you're really just wanting to continue doing whatever it is that you're doing, then you can skip it. But if you're interested, go ahead and tune in to my announcement. Before we jump into today's video, I need to talk to the woman who feels like she is doing everything right in her business, but yet it kind of feels like God has gone silent. You keep creating the content, you're posting, you're praying, you're showing up, you're serving your audience. You're supporting everyone else. And internally, you are starting to wonder, when is it going to be my turn? When is God going to show up for me? When are the clients going to start rolling in? That is probably some of the questions that you have. You are tired of sowing seed after seed after seed and not seeing the harvest, not seeing the blossom, the fruits of your labor. You're tired of putting on a brave face for all your family members and friends about your business and pretending like everything is going well in your business. Pretending like, oh yeah, I'm hitting those high income months, or pretending like everything's fine, even though you are barely seeing the income that you want to make. You love Jesus. You love the Lord with all of your heart, your might, and your soul. But honestly, you're feeling discouraged, disappointed, and you're starting to doubt your own capability. If that woman is you, I want you to know something. I created Consecration Academy just for you. Just for the woman who's wondering, when is it going to be her turn? When is it going to be your turn? That's who Consecration Academy is for. Consecration Academy is not a fluffy, feel-good program. This is a high-level, spirit-led program for the woman who's done pretending that everything is okay and is ready to actually step into the abundance that God has for her, the abundance that God has for her business. Inside of Consecration Academy, you are going to get access to 2 one-on-one calls every single month. These are 60-minute in-depth strategy sessions where me and you are going to really go through your entire business. It's where the Holy Spirit gets to meet us in that place, and the 3 of us get to figure out how are we going to grow and scale and see success in your business. On top of your 2 monthly calls with me, you also are going to receive access to our community chat so you can cheer on other students in Consecration Academy and also be poured into. It's not enough to pour into everybody else, but you never get poured into. Now is the time for you to also be able to receive other people cheering you on and showing you that your business matters too. Inside of Consecration Academy, you're going to get every week, Monday, we do prayer calls. And so you'll be able to pray with other women who are on fire for Jesus, other women who are ready to see an impact in their business. And every Wednesday, you're going to get one of the following calls. We're either going to be doing a group coaching call on your visibility, on your marketing, on your sales, right? On your mindset, so you can show up in the best possible way. You get hands-on support and a group setting on Wednesdays, which is so incredibly awesome in case we didn't cover everything in our one-on-one sessions. On top of that, you get unlimited voice note access to me daily, so we can work on things outside of our group coaching calls and outside of our one-on-one calls. It's time for you to receive true support. You get access to a course inside of Consecration Academy, which takes you through all of the steps of prayer, mindset, visibility, marketing, and sales, which is the core foundational pillar of Consecration Academy. And last but not least, inside of Consecration Academy, you are going to get access to your own private tailored course, which is just for you and your business. This is where you're going to access your previously recorded one-on-one calls and every single piece of strategy that me and you have talked through either in DMs or on one-on-ones for you to continue to grow. So you have all of your notes, so you can just come to the call talking rather than taking notes and speaking with me. I want to make sure that you feel supported and loved on during our time together, because we are going to grow your business with the Holy Spirit to $20,000 months. The investment for Consecration Academy is $2,000 a month with extended payment plans as low as $250 a month. Because I never want money to be the reason that you delay what God is calling you to do. If you're ready to step into $20,000 months with the strategy, support, and Holy Spirit that you have been praying for, then I want you to go ahead and apply for Consecration Academy by clicking the link in the description below. You don't have to keep doing this alone. Now, let's dive into today's video. Okay, now that you are back, I need to tell you something. We are increasing your exposure in this video. This video, I am going to come at you and I'm going to tell you all the ways that you can increase your exposure, get more awareness to your brand, to your product, to your offer, to your service, because let's face it, these days it is so hard to compete. It is so hard to get more eyeballs on your product, your offer, your service, especially in the world of social media where content is going out so quick, like rapid fire, and you're like, I don't even know what to post. Guess what, bestie? I've been there, I get it, and I'm here to teach you exactly what you should do. Before we really jump in, I want to share one thing, and that is that you don't want to just be on anybody's anything, okay? You need to be where your ideal audience base is listening, watching, seeing, all of the things, okay? We're not putting ourselves out there for virality. We are putting ourselves out there for purpose, okay? In Jesus' name. With that being said, here's the truth. If you are looking for exposure, some of the things that you need to think about is becoming a guest on a podcast. That is number one. Becoming a guest on a podcast, and I've kind of talked about this, all the different ways that we can increase our visibility, that we can increase eyeballs on our brand, right, in another YouTube video, but I just want to go more in depth today. I want to dive it home. So number one is a way that you can increase your visibility without paying for anything, because this is all about earned media, not paid media, is being a guest on someone else's podcast. There are hundreds, millions, thousands of podcasts that are out there that are looking for guests on a daily and monthly basis. They are constantly needing to put out more content and more content and more content. And you, yes, you have the right thing to say to them. You have the right words to say that is going to help their audience learn, grow, whatever it is based on what it is that you do. And so now is the perfect time for you to start getting on podcasts. Podcasts aren't dying. In fact, I don't even remember how many people listen to podcasts on average, but it was in the millions the last time I checked. So if that is the case, you need to be where people are listening, okay? Especially people who are busy. They're on the go. Maybe they're in the car. Maybe they're on a run or a walk or whatever. They have their podcast on. You need to be where people are listening, okay? And so that starts with pitching to be a guest on someone's podcast. Another way that you can increase your visibility, or your PR as I like to call it, is by pitching to write a guest blog. Now there's two things here that can happen. You can either completely write an entire blog, which is really great and helps you out with SEO, and your name gets to be used on it most of the time. It depends on the blog. Or you can be featured on a blog, meaning that somebody else writes it and you are getting featured. Either one of those are really, really great, especially if you have a website, because it's just going to drive that traffic right back to you. It really helps to increase your SEO. And if you're like, Sienna, what is SEO? Baby, I got you. SEO is search engine optimization. It is how people are searching on like Google or Yelp or whatever to find the things that they need. You want to make sure that you're popping up. If you are a web designer and I go and I search web designers, right, or creative web designers, I want you to show up. Okay? And how are we going to do this? Well, we are going to do this by increasing our visibility, because the more that we're visible is the more that our name and our brand and everything will pop up on Google. So the more public relations activities that you can be involved in is the more that your name is going to be found on Google or other search engines. And so we want to make sure that we are protecting our brand's name and our reputation. Okay, so that is number 2. Number 3, going into someone's community and teaching. Okay, this is underrated, but it needs to happen more. There are a ton of Facebook groups that need people to come in and teach a lesson in them, okay, where you can increase your exposure. Some of these things are paid. Now, this one's a little bit different, but it's okay because it's a Facebook group. Right? And so we want to increase that exposure to our brand. We want to get more eyeballs on what we're doing. We want people to see us, to know us, to like us, and to trust us. And so if you can go into a community and you can teach, how amazing is that? Also, there are a ton of business coaches that have communities, right? Like I have a community. And people can come into communities, not mine because of the way that it's structured, but can come into communities or go into communities and you can teach. There are lots of business coaches that have large communities, mine is small because it's just me as a coach, right? That have large communities where you could go in and say, hey, I noticed that your community teaches blank, blank, and blank, but you're missing out on this area teaching here. Can I teach on this, right? Like if you were pitching me, which please don't because I'm not taking guests inside of my community, but if you were pitching me and your example as a web designer and you know I teach on all the things, but I don't teach on web design, then what should you possibly say? Oh, you know what, Sienna, you talk about prayer, mindset, visibility, marketing, and sales, but in your marketing and in your visibility, are you talking about web design? Because if not, I would love to teach a class on web design in your program. I would love to just come in and teach one thing. Now, some of these times when you go into someone else's community, they may pay you, okay? You can ask if there's room in the budget for them to pay you, especially if their audience in that community is paying them. You can ask that, and so you can get paid. You should never pay to speak in someone else's community. It usually doesn't end up very well. Or if you're not getting paid, then you just do it for free. And you do it for free in exchange for testimonials, reviews. No matter how big you get, no matter how much money I will be making in my entire career, I will happily step into someone's community and teach for free. Like, you need me to teach for free? I got you, boo. Why? Because it builds more community for me at the end of the day. Like, those people, like, I have taught in communities in the past, and people who have seen me in whatever community they were investing in at that moment, they may not have invested with me at that time because they're already in a community, but I guarantee you they invested with me later on. Why? Because they already know me. They already like me. They already trust me. They've seen what I do, and we've had a conversation. And so the same thing could apply for you, okay? So if you are capable of finding groups and communities where people are like, hey, I need someone to come teach, you should volunteer to teach, if not anything, or ask them if they have a budget, because a lot of times there is a budget. Even I have paid people to speak in my communities in the past. When I had other types of communities, I have paid. And all right, now that we've talked about those ways, there's other ways that we can increase your public relations, your PR, and really getting exposure to your brand. By the way, before I talk about those other ways, I just want to say this. Some people watching this YouTube video may feel like your brand or your business is too small for exposure. You may feel like you're not cut out for exposure. You may feel like no one wants to listen to you, or you don't have anything that you want to say. And I just want to say, I rebuke the lies of the devil from your head in the name of Jesus, okay? I'm a Christian sales coach. Those lies are not sticking here. Just because your business is small or brand new or only making $1,000 to $5,000 months doesn't mean that you are not worth speaking in a community. It doesn't mean that you are unworthy of somebody listening to what it is that you have to say. In fact, that is a prime time for you to increase your visibility when you are new or when you are relative, when you are starting. It is not just for the big gurus, which, by the way, big gurus, if you're out there and you have a huge platform, you need to start ramping up your visibility. You need to get more eyes. There will always be a need for more eyes no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, even if you have a 9 to 5, okay? So we gotta make sure that we are putting ourselves out there on a consistent basis. I want to hear what you have to say about your business, your whatever. I want to hear it. There are millions of people who want to hear you. But if you don't put yourself out there, how would you ever know that? You're not gonna know that. You're going to keep thinking nobody wants to hear from you, and you're going to stay stuck in your business wondering why you're not making any money, okay? We are pushing past that, quite literally, and we are going to move on with showing up, because there is someone who is waiting for you to open your mouth so that they can receive breakthrough, so that they can receive what they have been praying so diligently to receive. So you need to speak. And you need to use your voice, and you need to do what needs to be done for your business to grow. Now that we've gotten that disclosure out of the way, let's continue on with all the different ways that you can increase your visibility. Another way that you can increase your visibility and really get seen in this market is by speaking on stage. Yes, I love this one, okay? I love speaking on stage, because when you speak on stage, you are allowing yourself to grow, to expand, to take in new things, okay? When you speak on a stage, whether it's a small little mastermind or an inner circle, right, where it's just like 4 or 5 people, or it's 200 to 300 to 1,000 or 10,000 people, you are increasing your visibility. You are getting directly in front of somebody else's audience, and a large amount or sometimes small amount of people who have paid to be in the room. By the way, that's important, is they have paid to be in the room, because if they've paid to be in the room, they take it more seriously than somebody who just wrangled themselves in for free. Okay, free usually equals lower sales for you if you are speaking in a community like that, right? And so you can speak for free if you want to, but a lot of times people are going to pay you to speak, which I have spoken for free. Like, I'm not, even at this stage of business, I am not opposed to speaking for free as long as it makes logical sense for me. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, right? And so if you are ready to start making money, or even not, you want to be in rooms where people are paying to be there, then you need to speak on stages. You need to get in the room. You need to figure out who's hosting a conference and pitch yourself to those conferences, because you are worth listening to regardless of what stage of business you're in. Remember, we talked about that just a second ago. Okay, and so getting on stages is not just for the experience, but it can also be for the inexperienced, right? And so there's a lot of things that go on with that, and maybe later on I'll teach like how to pitch properly, how to create your speaker reel, those types of things, right? But for now, let's just talk about the meat and potatoes of it all. And that is that you need to figure out which of these ways you're going to get visible in. You need to sit down and say, okay, I learned this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, that way, but I need to narrow this in, okay? Now, there are other types of exposure. There's other types of PR, right? Such as being featured on a news station, which my business has been featured on in the news station. A lot of times, the early morning news crews like to, when they're not talking about traffic or the weather, they need something to fill their time, because they're not pushing the hard news stories typically early in the morning. So that is when they're going to invite you to be a guest on their show. I've actually worked at a news station 6 years ago, and that was my last 9 to 5 before going full-time into my business. When you are like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously, I'm going to pitch all the news stations around me, I'm going to see if they need a segment to add in. Sometimes they do this in the afternoon as well, because in the afternoon segment, there's not a lot going on. Most people are at work, okay? So they're trying to fill that slot up. But the great news is that they usually put that one little clip of you and your business on their Facebook page, which is really where the most amount of exposure is going to come from, because a lot of people don't even have cable and they don't watch the news, okay? So we want to maximize exposure to your brand at this stage of business. I hope that mostly if you're watching this, that you are somewhere in the middle. You're not a newbie, you're kind of experienced already, right? You're not like excelling in business yet and you're trying to DIY it. Great, this is for you. But even if you are new, this is also for you. Even if you are experienced, you can still learn something from this. No one will stop you from pitching but you. No one's going to stop you from receiving success but you. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy 8:18, which I quote all the time, I feel like in every video, is that God gives us the power to gain wealth. That means that the power is in your hands. Who gave it to you? The Lord. So what are we going to do with it? We're going to take action with it. Okay, we're not going to sit on the sidelines. We're not going to wait for something magical to happen. We are going to take action. Sorry for slamming on my desk. But we're going to take action and we are going to meet it. Okay, so magazines are still something that people read, right? You go to the grocery store, you walk in the checkout line, there's a whole magazine stand. Mostly nowadays it's filled with candy and it's like a slither of a magazine stand, but you can still get experience with being in magazines. Like there are magazines that will literally say, yes, I would love to write a story on you, or no, I don't want to write a story on you. You pitch them anyway and you let them tell you no. You don't tell yourself no. We're not letting our mind self-sabotage what we are able to receive and the amount of wealth that we're able to accumulate. So these are all the ways that you can increase your visibility. And what I want you to do is I want you to go and I want you to think about how you're going to start increasing your visibility. How are you going to start showing up in your business? How are you going to start showing up in your brand? How are you going to start taking the action that is necessary for you to take? Because the time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not 5 days from now. The time is today, right? You don't even know if you have tomorrow. Like God willing, you have tomorrow, but like you don't even know if tomorrow is your portion. Okay, so the time is now. So here's what I want you to do in order. If you haven't liked this video, I need you to go like this video because it tells YouTube that this is a great video and that it should share it with more people. I then need you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, so we can continue to grow and you can keep getting notified when I make a video like this, because I'm going to be doing an entire segment on teaching on visibility and increasing your sales and your revenue and all the things, okay? And I post almost every day. We need to be in a place where you're constantly listening to someone teaching you about wealth, growing and scaling, growing and scaling. We're not sitting on sidelines. We are growing and we are scaling. Okay, we're listening to that and we are taking the action. So you're going to like this video for me, please. Subscribe to the channel, pretty please. And if you are serious about growing and scaling your business, I want you to apply for Consecration Academy. The link for Consecration Academy is in the description below. So go check it out. Go apply. No pressure. And best friends, I will see you in the next video. Bye.